So, hello to everybody. We're going to start today's session. As everybody knows, my name is Philip FIMMANO, and this is Lee EDELKOORT next to me. And we are the founders of the World Hope Forum. We're actually here in Eindhoven during Dutch Design Week. And it was exactly 4 years ago that we had our first webinar of our monthly get-togethers. So we're actually celebrating our 4th anniversary today. So I'd like to say happy birthday, not just to the forum, but a big thank you to all of our amazing speakers that we've had over the past 4 years. There's probably, what is that, 400 speakers?
Yeah, I would say.
Maybe a little bit less. But it's an amazing library of hope, if you want. And so it's very important that we continue to grow this movement by inviting others. So I wanted to challenge each of you that are joining us today to share the knowledge or the link of the World Hope Forum with at least 4 other people. They can be your friends, your colleagues, your children, your parents, whoever it might be. You can, of course, share with them the link for the Instagram as well as our website, and then they can join any of our sessions, as well as see all of the previous forums, which are on the website as well.
You could actually do that still now. You can still send this information to your friends to see if they want to be with us this afternoon, because the session is going to be amazing.
Yes, I think it will work if they do that. So before we talk about today's forum, which is going to be on Portugal, of course, you all know that. It has been curated by Armando Ribeiro, who is working in the communications sector. And he unfortunately is ill today, so he cannot join us, but he sends you all his Portuguese kisses. And I'm sure that he will be watching, even though he's sick, he will be watching from bed.
We wish you a quick recovery.
Yes, we hope that he's feeling better. We're also joined by our cat Zulu with us today. So if you hear any cat noises, that is Lee's wonderful cat who is here with us in the same room. So we're in a loft, so please bear with us. And so today's session is, of course, going to be super inspiring. We're going to be joined by people working in different mediums. Many of them are young creatives who are well established.
Mostly crafts.
Different crafts and collaborations with people not just working in Portugal, but also in different countries. And so it's really interesting to see that Portugal's amazing tradition of working across cultures, of working with people in different places, bringing together different industries and crafts is going to be addressed today, but from a contemporary point of view, and also giving us this idea that there is an amazing amount of hopeful projects and hopeful creative things happening in this country, as well as in different parts of the planet, including in Mozambique, in South Africa, in France, in Brazil. So many other places are going to be mentioned today. Lee, did you want to say anything about Portugal?
Yes, I'm looking forward to getting to know Portugal a bit better, because as we all somehow know, is that Portugal is quite discreet about who they are, what they do. It's a country which is not, making a lot of effort maybe to speak about itself as other countries in the region do. So from all the Southern European countries, I think it's the most modest and also almost the most secret somehow. And it makes me think of your famous poet Pessoa, who really pursued this amazing career of poet and storyteller, and always told everybody that he was nothing, that here I am, I'm nobody. And then he leaves this treasure trove of thousands and thousands of wonderful work. So I feel a little bit that is what Portugal is. It's fascinating. But even the way he dressed with his coat and with his head, a bit sort of hidden, I connect that to the image of Lisboa and of your country, which is supposed to be a very exotic country, and I think you are, but there's also something very rural and very rooted and very strong, a strong identity which is in a way hidden. So this is why I'm so looking forward to meet all of you, all speakers, to try to understand. Often this happens that after a forum, it feels like you now know the country. And so that is very important for all of us, because your country is now becoming such a mega magnet. So many people are going to Lisboa and Porto, not just for tourism, but to live there actually. Lots of people have houses or second houses. It's also because of the government, of course, made this possible for foreigners without European passports. But in the end, there is a flock of very creative people, because they're almost all creatives. Also during COVID, people really deserted their own countries and cities and went for more countrified living. And so I'm very curious to see how this new Portugal, this more creative central position you have in the design and craft world, is going to play out. So I'm super looking forward.
Yeah, we'll see lots of examples of that today, I think. Just to remind everybody, though, our next Hope Forum is going to be on November 23rd, so in about a month from now, and it's going to be an amazing forum on the subject of cultural sustainability. So looking at the idea of community across different cultures around the world, and all of the legal side as well. So understanding how we're going to move beyond appropriation and towards a coexistence and a co-collaboration with many different cultures around the world.
The new rules will be laid out, actually.
The new laws, LORE, as we heard yesterday. So if anybody is a creative who is interested in understanding what the future is going to be about craft, as well as cultural collaboration, I think this is going to be a must-see and a must-experience Hope Forum. So we invite you all to attend and also to spread the word to people that might be interested in this.
This is very important for all CEOs of companies, all people working on diversity and like sort of proper business planning. So it's a must see, not just for creatives, but I think for everybody in the creative sphere, because it's going to help us understand that we can actually be inspired by folklore and by other cultures, but that it is just generating new ways of doing so, and a very exciting one. So it's one of the most exciting forums we will have, I think, in our
and it's going to be
short life.
It's going to be curated by Monica Bota-Moisin, and so she's an amazing individual. You're going to meet her and fall in love with her like we did. And she's doing amazing work, not just in Romania, but working with the UN and all around the world. So we look forward to meeting her as well. We're going to just mention that, as I said, we're here in Dutch Design Week, and one of the most moving installations at the main fair is this temple, which is called the Temple of Peace. It is a collaboration with different creatives and artists who have all been asked to create a peace flag, and they have been using textiles and applique to create these different icons of hope, icons of peace. And so we thought it was a great sort of way to talk about what's been happening at Design Week. We've only been here 2 days. We've already seen many, many inspiring projects that give a lot of hope about the future of design, as well as materials, as well as better solutions for society and coexistence.
Mental projects. It's very, very distinct that there's really two distinct movements. As far as we can see now, we haven't seen the Design Academy yet, so that still has to come. But there is really this big, big movement towards realizing a better society with better fibers, better products, better making systems, and so on. Half robotic, half completely by hand. So there's a beautiful reaching out between the two, the high tech and the craft. It's really happening everywhere we look. It is so interesting because a few years ago we saw all these little samples of people doing all this research. Now we see full-blown absolute product realization. So it has become reality. So that means basically that what was discovered a few years ago now is going into production, coming into our lives, possibly really the beginning of the big change. So it gives you a lot of hope that this is happening among so many young designers and companies also. There is beautiful blankets which are woven with sort of age-old traditional family brands in the Netherlands. And it's all from the natural colors of sheep. We see new ways of producing wool furniture by Christine Meindersma. She co-invented a needle felt machine, which is actually created
3D printing wool.
3D printing wool. So there's a boy who takes care of silkworms. You know, he's very concerned about the life of silkworms and gives them housing and food. There is a girl who is a witch and is speaking about symbolic language in a very poetic and beautiful way, and so on. So it's as well about mental health as a direction of society. So that's point number one, very important. So it makes you, it helps us, you know, to sustain our life at this point. And then the second big direction is the child in us. There's a lot of children type furniture, objects, very colorful, very playful, very essential, I would say. So that also is a very uplifting movement. It confirms our latest trend book, which is all about the inner child. And yeah, we're definitely so happy about the two movements being there together next to each other, helping us to create more hope, which is what it's all about, our day.
So we're going to start today's program. And so I'm really grateful to all of the speakers for joining us. Our first presenter is going to be Noah Duchaufour-Laurence. And I just think his internet connection must have just disconnected because I see that he's just been cut off, but he was there a second ago. So I think he's going to reconnect shortly. I can maybe start to introduce him while we wait for that to be reconnected. If not, we will perhaps swap and go to the next speaker. So we can also do that. Oh, here he is. Great, perfect. So give us 1 second. Okay. So I think Noe is going to be fine to present. So welcome back. And so I was just mentioning about you being the first presenter. And of course, you've been working with many different design projects across the world. So you're a very esteemed and established designer, but you also have been spending a lot of time in Portugal, where you have been working with this collective called Made in Situ. And I think that you're going to be sharing with us lots of amazing moments of your projects for them. And you've co-founded it, in fact. And so I hand it over to you, Noe, and we look forward to your talk.
Hello, good afternoon. I hope my connection will be enough strong for handling this presentation because I'm not in my apartment. I have 20 people in my place, so I can't really. I wanted to be out for a better presentation and being in a calm situation. However, thanks a lot for this invitation, Lee, Philippe, and Armando. Yes, I basically went to Portugal 6 years ago, and I'm going to share my screen now. I created a Made in situ when I arrived to Portugal, but I had this project in my mind since more than 10 years because I was looking at other disciplines, creative disciplines, where they are using the territory as a base for a project. As a gastronomy, for example, the food. And I was really impressed about some moves that were in this direction because as a designer, I'm working worldwide, I'm traveling a lot. And I was thinking that at this time I was living a bit off the ground. And I wanted to root myself as a person, as a human, connected to real things. That was what I was doing in a way when I was going to see the company I was working with or the artisan I was working with, but it was not enough. I wanted to go in a deeper connection to something real. Basically, Made in Situ is a project which puts together the territory, the material, and the craftsmanship. And this triangulation is the base of all the project. If I don't have, I always try to connect them together and find a way to create a narrative around that. My project is discovering a territory, and I don't have any preconceived idea of the design I'm going to do. So it's basically a bit the opposite of what I'm doing with brands, where when I'm working with the brands, I try to understand the context first, but also I have some ideas of what I could do, and then we try to figure out who is going to be a person making it or how we can make it. Here it's different. I really begin to design when I discover this triangulation of a territory, again, persons or craftsmanships and material. So I decided to do because it's a project where you need a lot of freedom. You need a space to express yourself through different supports. Design is one, but it's not the final object. In the process, I want to have an immersion through the sound, through videos. We are doing films for each of our projects, through narrative process like books. And we try really to have all this material to express the project. So it's the combination of these elements. Yes. Portugal is a fantastic country to express. I had to choose a garden in a way, or a place where I could pick up my ingredients. And Portugal is a fantastic platform because there is still a craftsmanship which is alive. There is still a reality to it, even though everything is moving very fast in this country now. But all these elements, artisans, craftsmanship, material, and territory are connected together. And there is still a reality about it. So the first year, basically, I explored the country. And I had some elements given by different friends. Sam is one of them who told me, "Oh, you should come. It's great to come here. There are beautiful things to do." And I had also this amazing encounter with Fatima Neto, who created this. Fatima Neto, sorry, Fatima, who created this fantastic project, Passao Futuro, with Astrid. And the first year they gave me some names of artisanal technique I could meet, and with my team I created a team for this project with a gallery. And the first year was about exploring Portugal and with the idea of doing different collections. One of them is Barro Negro. It's the first one. So now it's Made in Situ is 5 years next year, and we are already with 6 collections. And Barro Negro is a very old technique of cooking the ceramic in the ground, doing this process in a suenga, which is a traditional firing technique. And it's not only in Portugal, you can find it all around the world. And it's a very ancient technique of cooking ceramics. Basically, the ceramic is put in the ground and then absorbing while it's cooking. The process is absorbing the carbon dioxide on all the ceramic becomes black. So that was one of my first projects. We did the first presentation in the gallery in Lisbon with the idea also of reconnecting the pieces together, because everything is about connecting the pieces, the artisan all together in the village to do this process of a suenga, which is very demanding. And they are doing this ceremony every year. We did a specific suenga for this collection. And all the pieces have the idea of expressing this idea of community or connection with the land or reuniting people together. We have for this installation sound, which has been created by Moulinex, which is a famous artist in Portugal. And we really like to have also this kind of a three-dimensional aspect of it, like having the sound, which is all the senses, just the smell, because we have also a perfume for this project, and the vision. So, and here you see on the space, we have a door open on the back, which is actually a kitchen. And the other side, there is in the opposite, we don't see it on the picture, but we have a workshop. So I wanted to put this as a fundamental pillars of the project, having the kitchen and the workshop facing together and the gallery in the middle. That's basically the system we want to do also in Made Institute, is having this idea of connecting food design together, all related with the idea of the territory again. So that's the different collections we had, lights, vases, and a perfume diffuser. Burnt cork is the second one. I will go quite quicker, sorry. I discovered cork for sure is one of the main material we can work in Portugal. It's a fantastic material. It's very resilient. And he has a beautiful story, because every time you harvest cork, it's regenerating the tree, and it's also the tree is capturing 3 times more carbon dioxide than a normal growing tree. So it's one of the only, I would say, positive interaction between human and nature in this sense. And what I wanted to do, but for sure, cork and like the forest of cork and like all the forests in the world are suffering from fires. And when I arrived in Portugal 7 years ago, I went directly through the fires with my car. Basically, I arrived in Portugal after the border of Spain, and I was in the middle of this fire situation, and it was a drama for me. So I decided to do something with this in my mind, and that's what I did with this burnt cork. The cork is not burning; it's consuming, but it's not totally burning. And we're using the bark. If you take it out, the tree can live again if it's not too late. And what I did is doing blocks with this and having the gradient from a very raw part of the blocks, then to a very refined part. And then I designed several pieces with this idea. So the block is the base of the project. And then we go to these more organic and fluid shapes, which are expressing a bit the idea of the phoenix. And we have a collection of few objects also there. I don't have the films. I can't really share everything, but that's mostly the collections we have. Azulejos is a different project. It's a collection, as you know, azulejos is a very important tradition in Portugal and also in Netherlands, actually. There is a big story between the countries for this. The azulejos are covering the facade of the buildings and also the interiors of the houses for the noble houses, and it was seen as a way to express who you are or what you are doing in your life. And here, basically, one day I arrived to my studio. And I said, "What I can do with azulejos?" And my team told me, "But you can say your story." So what I tried to do, and I thought it was interesting, but it was the first time that I was trying to do. So what I did is a story from my village in Brittany on the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean to Portugal. So it's a narrative of this coastline and a kind of a tribute to this coast. So there are different objects referring to this, panels and more like art piece and some furniture. So that's a recent piece I designed, and that's the first project I did by myself, painting the things by myself. So doing the ceramic with Viu Valamego, which is one of the oldest azulejos company in Portugal. And I really immersed myself in this process, not knowing, I didn't know anything about ceramic at this time. And that's the panel we shown for the first time, and then we did furniture based on this process. Bronze and beeswax is another project. I went to the north of Portugal, went to a bronze company, and I love the ambience and the idea of the similarity between the bronze, which is pouring in the mold, and the wax of a candle. And I thought it was interesting to do candle orders with the bronze. And then for sure I wanted to, but the company I wanted to work with at this time, because it was very old style, and it was beautiful, but there is something very strange in this atmosphere. And finally they disappeared, they closed. And I went to Peniche to see it's a village in the west, on the coast of Portugal, which basically all the industry of this village is related to the boat, to the fisherman industry. And I went to see a company who was doing propellers for boats in bronze. And I asked them if they were interested to do some objects different than propellers. And they were very interested, because actually the owner used to do a sculpture at school and then worked with his father in this company. So then as soon as I knew that I could work with the bronze, I decided to search for some people who can do the candles. And we found around Fatima some people who can do candles, and they told me that the wax they were using, the beeswax they were using, was coming from Senegal, because it's very hard now to find wax in Portugal. It's more expensive, extra, because of the dispersion of the bees. So as soon as I thought that I was looking for a beekeeper who can give us or procure some wax, and who can also tell a story about it. We can explain us why and the reason why they are disappearing, or why it's hard and rare, etc. So all these elements put together, finally I thought that the wax was as important as the bronze. It was as luxurious product as the bronze. And what we did actually here is some elements which are referring to this connection between the wax and the bronze, and the object is interacting with the wax. So the wax is pouring in the object. So one is a tribute to the light, which is the premier light, and the other one is a tribute to the wax. And so more the wax is going to pour on the object, more is going to interact with the shape, and more is going to be interesting. So we have a series of different objects there. Chêne et Liège is one of the only projects I did out of Portugal, and I will do some others, I think. It's in the Var. Again, it's about cork. We used to have a big industry of cork in south of France, but as the competition was quite hard with Spain and Portugal and Italy, and also North Africa, basically we had 2,000 people working on cork in the 80s, and now there is only 5 people in the family working with the cork harvesting. So the result of that is that there is less and less occupation of the natural territory. And due to the COVID, as you know, people want to go to work remotely, and they go much more to the countryside, etc. But it becomes a danger also for the nature. If the nature is not occupied in a way, or not worked with an interaction with the human in a certain way, it can be dangerous. If you leave it alone, it's okay. But as soon as there is this proximity with the human, it can be a danger. And what happens is the result of that, it's fires again. So here the problem is that the cork is not harvested because there is no industry anymore, and the trees are dying. So what we did, we used the wood of the cork, which is a very specific wood. As you can see, it's like a exotic wood. It's not European at all, but it is. And we used the cork inspired by a convent I saw nearby Lisbon also, which was full covered with this cork as a decorative element and also an isolation element. And I re-put the tree and the bark together in a decorative process. So there is also a series of objects with this. All the narrative, as you can see, because there is the object is coming from the context, from the situation. All the design and all the pieces has a different expression. I don't look for a style there, which is totally different than what I'm doing for brands usually, where I try to have my I would say my kind of signature, if we can talk about it, in combination with the signature of the brand. Here we are totally in a different environment. I try to be out a bit of the design identity. It's more a process and a way of thinking. Caritos, and here is totally the result of that, because you are so far away from your ego is a bit out of the process, and then you don't think anymore about how you're going to do things. Then I was impressed by the north of Portugal, where you have these festivities, and not only in Portugal, all around the world, but doing some masks for ceremonies, which as pagan ceremonies during the winter time in the countryside where nothing is happening, basically. And I asked several artisans in one village who are doing masks to do an object, which is a stool. So at the beginning, it was hard because they didn't want to do anything else than masks, because they thought that they were able to do only masks. But actually, the result is quite impressive. They were sculptures. They behaved like sculptures. They didn't think about it. So I think now you will see more and more of these tools in the village around. But what was the interest there was really to do something to show a reality and know-how in a different context. And we just did a collaboration with Charles Fréget, which is a fantastic photographer, and does these pictures of wild amounts all around the world. We had 7 portraits of these characters festivities in our gallery. And so here, it's different exhibition. We did one in Villanois where I was invited as president of the jury. That's why we did Chenelier collection. We show also the process, the way we try to express the things. That's a Demis Danan gallery in New York, which is really supporting us also. All the process where as a designer also I try to really focus on how we are going to express that, the narrative, the design of the books, and the films, as I was saying, the music, which is very important, the sounds. So, and that's the final thing, which is actually connecting again the food and the design together. We did one experience here. We want to continue this story. I would love to invite some chef and doing some other project like this, connecting the territory and the material and the ingredients, putting them on the same level. Thanks a lot.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Noe, and everything is so gorgeous and beautiful, so it's very inspiring for us.
Beautiful how the materials are sort of co-designing themselves, you know, that's really interesting to see.
So you shared with
Thank
us
you.
a film. You have a film that is about 5 minutes, so would you like us to show that now?
If you have time for it, it's okay for me.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the last project actually, Caritos, I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll play it now, and then we just say in advance, thank you so much for contributing your presentation today. I know you have to go, so if you're not back later, we just say thank you already now. So
thank you very much.
that's it.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.